All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're not slogging through some massive textbook or sitting through a 3-hour documentary. No, we are meticulously deconstructing a fleeting, hyper-condensed, and honestly fascinating piece of modern digital media. That's right, we're putting a 15-second YouTube short under the microscope. We're going to look at how just a few seconds of media, a handful of very specific words, and a highly calculated string of metadata all smashed together to create a literal internet phenomenon. We're talking about a specific upload centered around a BMW that actually reveals, well, volumes about how our digital culture operates today. Okay, listen to this. Industria na inosi. Yeah. Believe it or not, this cryptic, kind of surreal line is the absolute entirety of the spoken transcript for the viral media we're unpacking today. That is literally it. There's no elaborate voiceover, no deep dive into engine specs, just that. When we talk about microedits, we're talking about extreme minimalism, right? But hey, minimalism definitely doesn't mean a lack of complexity. As you'll see, there's a deeply intentional structure hiding behind this tiny flash of audio. So, what does this actually have to do with a BMW? That's the core mystery here. How exactly does this phonetic foreign language audio track connect to a luxury German car? Because visually, the subject matter is explicitly a BMW, yet the audio? It completely ignores everything we've come to expect from car commercials. No talk of horsepower, zero mention of German engineering. Instead, we're handed this chaotic linguistic puzzle. Let's start breaking down the architecture of this puzzle to see exactly how the creator frames this vehicle.
First up, let's peel the onion at the surface level. Section 1, Crowning the King, Analyzing the Title.
Right out of the gate, the creator establishes absolute dominance and reference. They boldly declare the BMW as the king, and they punctuate it with a literal crown emoji right there in the title. Think about that. Before you even hear the audio, before you see a single frame of the car, you're being told exactly what to think. It's not just a car, it's automotive royalty. And the audacity of slapping that emoji in there, it's a total staple of this kind of digital communication. It gives you this immediate visual anchor of hype and authority that plain text just can't pull off. Plus, by explicitly branding it an edit in the title, the creator is actively declaring the media's identity within internet culture. You see, an edit isn't just a verb anymore. It's become a specific noun, a completely distinct genre. When you see the word edit, you instantly expect rapid cuts, heavy aesthetic filtering, and perfectly synced audio. The creator is basically shaking hands with the audience, establishing this shared cultural expectation right from the very first character. So, how does this all translate into getting views? Let's move to Section 2, Anatomy of Viral Tags, the Algorithmic Machinery. Take a look at this highly aggressive strategy of hashtag stuffing attached to the title. We've got shorts, shorts feed, viral, trending, edit, and then, finally, sitting right at the very bottom, BMW. This isn't just some afterthought, you guys. This is the engine of distribution. The creator isn't just making art here. They're feeding a machine. These tags are explicitly designed to hijack the platform's recommendation algorithms and basically force the media onto as many screens as humanly possible. And here's where it gets really fascinating. Look at the creator's priorities. 5 whole tags are dedicated purely to pleasing the algorithm, while only a single tag actually describes the car itself. That 5-to-1 ratio, it tells us pretty much everything we need to know about the modern digital landscape. The actual subject, the BMW, is almost totally secondary to the mechanical process of making the thing go viral. The creator is hyper-aware that without those 5 algorithmic tags, that one subject tag is useless, because literally no one would ever see it. Which begs the question, who is the architect behind this meticulously optimized digital artifact? That brings us to Section 3, the Slaytrex Edits persona, the auteur. The channel name, Slaytrex Edits, acts like a modern digital auteur's signature. It beautifully blends this aggressive internet aesthetic with a formal declaration of their craft. The word slay obviously implies dominance, success, this highly stylized modern attitude. And then, once again, explicitly stamping edits into the title really solidifies their brand. They aren't just some random user, they are a dedicated editor, a curator of the specific hyperkinetic vibe. It's just a perfect example of how modern creators brand themselves as actual specialists in digital emotion. We've picked apart the hyper-commercial English metadata, but now we really have to confront that starkly different audio track. Section 4, Deciphering the Audio, the Linguistic Contrast. It is such a jarring juxtaposition. On one side, we have the calculated English text meant for search engines, and on the other, this chaotic, fragmented audio meant for the actual listener. Sterile, highly optimized English machine language designed for maximum discoverability over here, paired with a completely different language and alphabet, offering a surreal auditory experience over there. It's like the creator is speaking two entirely different languages at exactly the same time, one to the algorithm and one to human psychology.
Looking closely at the transcript, we see these specific Cyrillic words, which injects this sudden, massive wave of international surrealism into something ostensibly just about a car. I mean, imagine being a standard Western viewer. You click on a BMW tag and bam, you are hit with this audio profile. It's honestly hilariously absurd when you think about it, using Russian audio to sell a German car to an English algorithm. But it intentionally disorients you. It's really not about understanding the literal translation in the moment, it's all about the texture of the sound. It's the undeniable globalized nature of internet culture just creating a very, very specific vibe. Let's break down this cryptic audio puzzle piece by piece. Section 5. Industry on Industry, the climax.
The audio kicks off with industria. Now, even if you don't speak the language, the phonetics sound remarkably close to the English word industry, right? And that is a brilliant auditory hook. It grounds all the luxury and speed of a BMW right back down into its raw manufacturing roots. It's a subtle reminder of the heavy machinery, the sprawling factories, and the cold, hard metal behind the king. Then it layers the phrase into industry on industry, which creates this highly rhythmic, hypnotic repetition. This isn't just spoken, it's stacked. Industry on industry implies this relentless building forward motion, honestly much like an engine turning over or a car accelerating hard. It gives us this thumping, auditory baseline that flawlessly matches the rapid-fire visual cuts we've come to expect from the edit genre. And finally, the audio wraps up with a fragmented phrase that sharply pivots right into a definitively Western English yeah. After pulling you through this hypnotic foreign language industrial chant, the creator just releases all that tension with a universally understood, super casual English word. It's a sudden drop right back into familiar territory. It acts as a musical punctuation mark, basically signaling the climax of this extremely condensed piece of media. So in literally a fraction of a second, Slaytrix Edits has dragged us through a highly structured 3-act narrative. We start with a mechanical baseline, we build massive tension through layering, and we resolve it all with a cross-cultural release. It is incredibly sophisticated sound design, totally compressed into a microscopic time frame, and it's all hiding right beneath a simple clip of a car.
Which leaves us with one final lingering question as we wrap up this explainer. Is this fleeting artifact merely playing to the machines, or does it represent a whole new way of globalized internet culture? We've seen the 5-to-1 hashtag ratio that practically screams algorithm, but we've also just unpacked a highly intentional, rhythmic audio track that screams pure artistic intent. Honestly, in today's digital landscape, the answer is probably that it has to be both. To survive out there, you gotta speak to the machine in English metadata, all while whispering to the human soul in hypnotic industrial beats. Think about that the next time you mindlessly scroll past a 15-second edit. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and remember to keep your eyes and your ears wide open.